defeat for the Briceño administration in the Senate as the sugar bill is shot down by the social partners. And the Omicron strain, is it here in Belize? The health minister says it's only a matter of time. Plus, the Prime Minister launches a progressive digital government agenda. He says it will put an end to lining up at all those government offices. But will it really? Also, the Ministry of Health is getting a new CEO, but what happened to the old one? The PM said there were personality differences. Today, Minister Shabat had a different take. You'll hear it. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, December 6th, 2021. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
This holiday season, simplify your shopping list and gift a Samsung Galaxy. Whether you're looking for a device for your bestie or your in-law, there is a Galaxy for everyone on your list. Enjoy the affordable awesomeness that the A-Series lineup offers and get 1-year local warranty only when you purchase from authorized Samsung resellers. Get a chance to win up to $10,000 in prizes when you shop any Galaxy A-Series phones or tablets this Christmas. Capture the laughter, share the joy, gift a Galaxy, and make it a Samsung Christmas.
Celebrate the season with Atlantic Bank and share the gift of joy.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. A jingle bell swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. A jingle bells chiming, jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time. It's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Improving lives, delivering quality. Water for you and me in Belize. BWS, we make it happen.
For the immediate future, our entire country's focus is to ensure that each of us take adequate measures to mitigate against the COVID-19 pandemic. We all need to ensure frequent hand washing or sanitizing, regular disinfection of surfaces, constant social distancing, and a sufficient supply of sanitizing and cleansing material. At this critical time, a reliable supply of clean potable water is of utmost importance to ensure our health and peace of mind. Water is therefore a vital necessity to help us remain free from illness and ultimately to help Belize's economic recovery. Help us to help you by paying your water bill. Our return to a healthy and vibrant economy depends on you.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
Today, the 13 senators sat down to debate the bills that we told you about from Friday's sitting of the House of Representatives. But in an unexpected turn of events, a majority of the senators was forced the government, that is, to stall the controversial Sugar Industry Act. Both the opposition senators as well as the social partners had major problems with the bill, which they say would give the Minister of Agriculture excessive powers. Senator Eamon Courtney stood up to introduce the bill, explaining what it entails.
The Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association and Belize Sugar Industries Limited have not been able to conclude an agreement for the next sugar, well, for longer than the next sugar crop. The existing agreement comes to an end in the middle of next month, and the parties are negotiating, but it seems that there is a bit of an impasse. The second is that there are 3 associations, 2 of which, not the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, 2 of which have not held elections of officers. Members of those associations have called for elections, and the existing persons who are holding on to office have refused to call those elections. The purpose of this bill, Madam President and members of the Senate, is to provide an amendment to the law to provide a regime that will address that issue, to ensure that at all times the Sugarcane Farmers Associations, all 3 of them, or if there are more in the future, or less, will always have elections by a time certain, so that you do not have executives holding on to power without a mandate from the people.
And Senator Parafit was the first to register his discontent with it. He lamented that the minister would be able to overturn any decision made by the board, and as such, he could not agree with the bill.
You want some level of certainty, Madam President, but you also must be very careful that you don't interfere in the workings of the association. You have to be careful that you don't come with this big brother, big sister stick and tell private associations how they are to run their internal bodies. However, as I said, we fully appreciate that the sugar industry is essential. So if you want to make mechanisms be there to say, listen, you have to have these elections by October, just like general elections in Belize. The law is clear when you're supposed to have a general election, a city council election, town board election. Certainty in certain things is critical and key, and we accept that. And the board is being given more power in this aspect, because it used to be it's only if the associations would request the board to become involved with their elections that the board could become involved. But with the new amendments, it is saying that the board will do it. This law increases the strength of the board, and we're saying fundamentally to protect the industry and to make sure we have a viable sugar industry. It's difficult to argue with that. Even though it may be a little bit high-handed, it's kind of difficult. But man, you know, take a nice warm bucket of milk and PP in it. Section 38A. Where a person, this is the law that they want to pass now, Madam President. Where a person is aggrieved by a decision of the board, the person shall refer the complaint to the minister for a decision. So, Madam President, they make her read the whole functions of the board just don't put hungry belly. Only for them to propose a piece of legislation that says all that I've described that the board can do, all of these things that the board is empowered to do, a board that is an autonomous body, all of that they do can be reversed by a decision of the minister. So you go to the board makes a decision, and you don't like it, you just go to the minister. And the minister can reverse that. You have upended the powers of the board. It was you. It was you in your plan beliefs that said you would decrease ministerial discretion and power. It was you. And now you're passing legislation to do just the opposite. You're passing legislation to increase ministerial power. You're passing legislation to have the minister in his personal discretion control the sugar industry.
And this time, the social partners were on his side. Senator Kevin Herrera explained that it felt like the government was trying to meddle in the private affairs of the board. And Senator Elena Smith agreed that she could not make sense of the bill's purpose.
It seems as if the government is proposing to fix this problem by amending the act to conduct and supervise elections. It's extremely difficult for me to reconcile that. Reconcile the conduct and supervision of elections to an impasse between the manufacturers and the farmer and an association. I don't know if I'm missing something, but I'm just not getting the connection. How does this fix it? How does this fix that problem?
We cannot in any way accept that for issues to be resolved within an industry, an association, that a minister has to have the power to do so. The board is an autonomous board. The board has authority to make certain decisions. The board has several of its members being appointed by the minister. And if I am correct, and somebody will correct me, it would seem that those appointments would be in the majority. So that if it is that the board is having issues and there are issues that can't be resolved, then we are saying that we are going to be putting the minister who would have appointed those persons to come and resolve a matter that his appointees, along with the others, can't resolve. Now, I don't know if that is going forward or backward. It really and truly doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't see how it would make sense to anybody else.
So with all that, the government side realized it would not have the numbers to pass the bill and elected to leave it in the Senate for further consultation. Later on in the news, you'll hear why the biggest growers association, the BSCFA, supports it. And just like the opposition members of the House of Representatives, the ones in the Senate spoke up against the supplementary appropriation bill. Senator Michael Perfit explained that there was little to no details explaining why the government would ask for additional funds only a little over a month after the previous appropriation bill. He said that something major had to have happened for the government to request this approval only 3 months before the end of the fiscal year, and that the Belizean people deserve to know what it is.
When you budget, Madam President, say $100, and you come back and you say you want another $5 or another $7, you can understand that you could be off. Contingencies, this is reasonable. But when you come back, you budget for $100. You come back and say, I want $25 more. Then there is something wrong with your budgeting, and you're not anticipating what you may or may not need, or you better come up with a good explanation as to what requires you to divert from your budget in such an extreme fashion. Especially, Madam President, we came here in October. We came here, Madam President, on October 25th with a supplementary. No, we're coming back here December 6th with another supplementary. So what the government is telling us, Madam President, is that in October, they anticipated they needed more money than they had budgeted for to take them to March 2022. So we have to assume that when you bring a supplementary budget in December, you are saying that something happened between October 25th and today to make you believe that you need more money that you didn't anticipate that you needed in October. The government has to explain the urgency.
He went on, line by line, criticizing the bill and what he characterized as a lack of clarity and detail.
The Court of Appeal, personal emoluments, they need another $156,000. You didn't know that in October? Have there been new Court of Appeal justices sworn in between October and now and have to be paid now that we didn't anticipate in October? We didn't know that. Why budget for that now? Ministry of Public Service, rent and leases. The approved estimates is $6.2 million. You're asking the National Assembly to approve from between now and March an additional $1.8 million. That's just under 1/3 of your total budget. You didn't know that in October? What new has to be rented so for the remainder of the financial year for $1.8 million? What new space has been created that wasn't there in October, that occurred between October and now, that you have to rent and ask the people of Belize for $1.8 million? What? Public utilities. You need $12 million between now and March 2022. And I think I heard the Prime Minister said that this is for street lights or something like that, repairing or, but then you didn't know that in October? You didn't know that? How come you just know that? How come you didn't know that in March? This is a major project, $12 million. There is no excuse. You have to explain to the Belizean people, how come you just know you need $12 million for that? They have fair scholarships, training. Is it training for scholarships? Is to train people to get scholarships, or is scholarships training, or what? $3 million? between now and March 22, 3 million, sorry, that's sorry, $1.584 million for training, 1.584 million. Now the budgeted approved estimate is 1.8 million. So you budgeted $1.8 million up to March 2022 in March, total. But yet in December, less than 4 months before the end of the budget cycle, you come and you ask for $1.5 million? What are you doing?
Senator Elena Smith also rose to add that with teachers and public officers forced to take the 10% cut, she agrees that there should be more clarity in regards to the appropriation bill in what is supposed to be a time of austerity. And moving into health news, a new COVID-19 variant was confirmed to be in Mexico, and now it has been detected in 15 U.S. states. And with the prospect of health regulations slowly relaxing and borders opening simultaneously with the tourism high season, Belizeans are growing concerned. But the Minister of Health and Wellness today said that really it's only a matter of time before it crosses the border into Belize. He added that this is no way affects their plans for reopening the border, but mentioned that they are monitoring the variant closely.
I don't know that we have any direct flights from Mexico coming into Belize currently. As you know, several countries in the world have instituted bans against these South African countries. But as you rightly say, it's next door. It's just a matter of time. We are stepping up our surveillance. We continue to ask all our citizens who have not yet vaccinated to come out and get vaccinated. We feel this is the best protection against this variant as well.
But you're still working towards the reopening of the land borders next year?
That is still in the making. However, we're watching and we're waiting.
And while there is no sign of Omicron in the country yet, AP News is reporting that a Norwegian cruise line ship carrying 10 COVID-positive passengers made a stop in Belize last week. In a statement by the cruise line, they said they have been, quote, adhering to appropriate quarantine and isolation protocols as new cases and exposures have been identified aboard this vessel, end quote. It is unclear if any of the passengers had disembarked. And so far, a little less than half the population has that extra layer of defense that the vaccine offers against the virus. The vax numbers had shot up only months ago, but it seems to have stagnated since, with that halfway point just barely out of reach. But the minister says if you only count the population that actually can receive the vaccine, we're closer to that 70% mark. He added that the government is working on getting the vaccine for kids under 12 years old.
I don't know that we have any direct flights from Mexico coming into Belize currently. As you know, several countries in the world have instituted bans against these South African countries. But as you rightly say, it's next door. It's just a matter of time. We are stepping up our surveillance. We continue to ask all our citizens who have not yet vaccinated to come out and get vaccinated. We feel this is the best protection against this variant as well.
But you're still working towards the reopening of the land borders next year?
That is still in the making. However, we're watching and we're waiting.
And with over 300,000 vaccines in storage and residents only slowly coming out to get vaxxed, there is a concern that some vaccines might start expiring. Minister Shabat says the country is now looking to donate some to countries that are in need before that expiration date comes.
I know that we have some Astra that may be expiring soon, and so we're trying to see if we can possibly donate, or we're trying to see if we can get them in arms before the expiration date, yes.
The donations are to maybe other countries who aren't as lucky as we are.
Right. We are reaching out. We are reaching out to see who may need them, who may want them. We currently have 300,000 vaccinations in the country, so we have enough for the entire Belizean population. And because we know that we have a short life with some of the vaccines, we want to be able to give them to our neighbors if possible.
And it's a lot of work that the Ministry of Health has on their hands, and now the new CEO will have to hit the ground running. Dr. Lesbia Guerra, the former Natural Resources CEO, has replaced the MOHW CEO, Dr. Daisy Mendez, and will be taking her office next week. But the idea of the switch in the middle of the public health crisis we currently face is concerning. And so we asked Minister Shabat about the personality differences between him and his former CEO. He was cagey about the reason for the change, but said that he believes Dr. Guerra will be an asset to the ministry.
Dr. Guerra is not yet at the ministry. I believe her start date is the 15th of December.
Sir, can you clarify the personality differences between yourself and the former CEO, Dr. Mendez?
I don't think there is any personality differences.
That's what the Prime Minister said.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. You know, I'll tell you this. I want to thank Dr. Mendez for the work she did at the ministry, and I want to wish her well for whatever assignment she undertakes. I am looking forward to Dr. Guerra coming on board. Dr. Guerra has some incredible administrative skills. The ministry has about 3,000 workers. And so we need somebody with that quality to come in and to help us get things going. So I'm looking forward to this new chapter.
But it must be quite difficult to switch CEOs in the middle of a pandemic, especially with Omicron around the corner.
Well, you know what? We need to do what we need to do. We need to make sure that the ministry is in a position that it is poised to deal with this new variant. And I believe that her addition will be incredible for the ministry.
The topic of the switch in health CEOs also came up during a press encounter today with the Public Service Ministry and Minister Henry Charles Usher. He told the press this afternoon, even before reports of personality differences emerged, that there was a plan that Dr. Mendez could lead the countrywide rollout of national health insurance.
Well, I know that came out about conflicts and so on, but in reality, this was a move that was being planned from before in terms that CEO Mendez is better suited to work along with NHI. So she's been moved over to the NHI program. As in Plan Belize, we stated in Plan Belize that we do intend to roll out NHI countrywide. We need somebody with the experience, with the expertise to be at the forefront of that NHI program. And CEO Mendez, Ms. Daisy Mendez, is certainly qualified as an expert in that area. Now, in terms of the new CEO, Dr. Lesbia Guerra, I'm very excited about all the work that she has done before. She has worked with Ministry of Health before on different capacities. She has her own private practice as well. Certainly, she brings a wealth of experience. She signed a one-year contract with Ministry of Lands, which, you know, is good because she got immersed in government work. So she understood what the CEO work is all about. So I believe it will be a smooth transition over to the Ministry of Health.
Government launches a progressive e-government agenda, but can it also commit to public transparency? The PM argued with us on that one. You'll hear it when we come back. Plus, a new COVID regs. It's out. They relaxed the curfew even more. We'll have the update in Times. Don't go away.
Alert! It's a deal alert! It's a Benny's deal alert!
At Bennett's, you will find deal alerts on a wide selection of paints, including BH paints and texture light paints. Deal alert markdowns will also be applied to our complete selection of tiles, lights and fans, appliances, and much, much more. And remember, Deal Alert purchases will get double tickets to take part in the grand draw on December 23rd to win $10,000. For more details, visit Bennis.bz. Bennis, quality and savings.
We instill trust that makes you believe in us. We are the diversity that unites us more and more. We are a family in constant growth. We are a country that always dreams big. We strive for excellence in all our products and services that enhance our customers' lives. We are Belize. We are Atlantic Bank. And today, we celebrate 50 years supporting your dreams. Atlantic Bank. Together, we are what we dream of.
Did you know at Mikado you can get 30 yards of free fabric with the purchase of a sewing machine?
Yes, we did!
Did you know at Mikado that we have new fabrics and home furnishing items every week?
Yes, we did!
Did you know at Mikado that you can win a sewing machine every month?
Yes, we did!
Did you know at Mikado you can buy at wholesale prices and be a Facebook reseller?
No, we did not!
Well, now you know. Did you know Mikado has a branch in Orange Walk Town?
No, we did not!
Well, now you know. Do you all know what Mikado is famous for?
Famous for better prices!
So now you all know.
Mikado, the Textile Palace, centrally located at 37 Albert Street in the heart of Belize City.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
We remain committed to providing safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions for communities across Belize. As part of BEL's Rural Electrification Program to expand our service to remote communities, we have been visiting and consulting with residents and leaders in remote and developing communities in southern Belize. We are also collaborating with partners in the energy sector to determine innovative energy solutions for these communities that take into consideration their unique needs and distance from the grid. Belize Electricity Limited is committed to providing safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions for communities across Belize.
This can be you. Get vaccinated. The life you save can be yours. This is a message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The TV you love is always with you. From live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV. Entertainment anytime, anywhere.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Cruise Terminal and Cruise Tourism Village, what I want build at the Port of Belize Limited.
What I know, that they don't inform Genosha whenever they do a development, they don't inform Genosha about it. They leave us for the last. I am a community member so long in Genosha for over 3 to 4 years now, and I don't see where they're responsible for us to tell us nothing about it.
I always worry about the development of the area, what they're going to do with the poor people, right? That is working, that is living around here and struggling for life. Because I know these days, they try the poor people there we can do better, and then they bring the richer one for live that area where people live. Understand me? And that bother me.
Well, one of the words that we're using of urban planning is gentrification, meaning because now there's big development there, people are start sell out their land, and people with money are coming in and buy up, and the people who are living in this community will get displaced. I always feel like they need to involve and engage the community much more, and to find ways how the community could actually get some tangible benefits from these kind of developments.
What do you know about a proposed Port of Belize Limited development in a Southside Belize city?
Coming from the south side of Belize, I have paid keen attention to what happens around me, and we all Belizeans that live in those areas also must pay attention because we're the ones that are going to be impacted by these things. If you take note, you'll notice that majority of these developments and these proposals often happen, how often are proposing poverty-ridden communities, because obviously you try to propose these in north side, let's say you try to put a cruise ship port in Kings Park, that'll be quickly declined or quickly not even considered. So you have to be cognizant and pay attention to what happened. You have to make sure that these proposed projects are actually benefiting the community, upskilling people's livelihood, bettering education, bettering lifestyle, economic status, and not just a few hand-me-down or a few small positions such as security, and which is no problem as long as security, but we want to make sure these communities are benefiting majority from these developments, and currently that's not the case. So I implore people to don't fall asleep, pay attention, check a change if you like the market, and make sure you're aware of this. These things are important, not just for environmentalists, but for community members. You're the ones that are going to be impacted by these developments.
COVID-19 has been hard on all of us. Businesses closed down, jobs lost, movements restricted, curfew. Life for all of us has changed completely. Imagine what our children are going through. They've been out of school almost 2 years, away from the classroom, away from their friends, locked up at home. The only way that can change is if they are vaccinated. If all our teachers and students take their shots, schools can open, slowly but surely. Our kids can get back into the classroom, back to their friends, back to school. They need that. Let's make the push for our kids and for Belize. Get them vaccinated today for a normal tomorrow. A message from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology.
Less than 2 weeks ago, the Ministry of Health issued a SI relaxing the curfew hours by an hour on weekdays and 2 on weekends. Tonight, they've extended it some more. Starting tomorrow, the curfew begins at 11 p.m. from Sunday to Thursday and at midnight on Fridays and Saturday. It ends at 4 p.m. every day. That should be 4 a.m. For minors, the curfew has been extended by 2 hours from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Additionally, with the Omicron variant, the SI also mandates that any person entering Belize from Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, or Zimbabwe will be immunized and be tested in Belize, in addition to being subject to a period of 10 days of quarantine at a government-designated quarantine facility in accordance with the guidelines of the Ministry of Health. For almost a decade, the last government was trying to roll out e-government platforms for all major government services. That pace was glacial and the accompaniments few, but it did result in some progress seen in online portals such as the Belize Motor Vehicle Registration and License System. And everyone agreed that the improvement of efficiency, customer service, and the ease of access for important government services were all important improvements. But then COVID-19 pandemic struck. That's when online portals went from a premium option to almost a necessity with all the social distancing rules. The Briceño administration has committed to scaling up all e-government access. How big do they want to go? Well, they presented what the finished product will look like at the launch of their national digital agenda. Our news team attended that ceremony, and Daniel Ortiz has that story.
Today, the Briceño administration took what they insist is a major step forward in the push to a fully functional electronic governance structure. It's called the National Digital Agenda 2022 to 2025. GOB's sales pitch is that this carefully crafted plan will move the nation, quote, toward a digital Belize, building trust in government services, end quote. In the same way that citizens can use the internet to shop for goods through electronic portals like Amazon or eBay, the government wants to offer similar options for all important government services. The plan is that at the end of this digital agenda's implementation, waiting in long lines at government departments will become a thing of the past.
Digital technologies will allow us to improve traditional, inefficient systems to facilitate service delivery and create new opportunities. The government's transformation will form the bedrock for change at all levels. Imagine, then, what more we could achieve if we truly unlock the potential of ICT.
Government will embrace digitalization as the engine which will empower the provision of all its services and the access to all services offered by government. Digital government on a global scale is designed to strengthen public governance and to make governments more accountable, efficient, and effective. This is what this administration promised our people: accountability in an era where accountability in government had become non-existent.
It is our unified vision to build trust in government services by providing reliable, inclusive, safe, and efficient digital solutions for citizens, businesses, and employees. This plan of action will enable the government to enter a period of rapid and disruptive transformation to improve service delivery, strengthen governance, and create public value. The digital agenda aims to achieve 3 high-level strategic goals. 1, transforming the way government operates. 2, developing a digital culture in society. And 3, building the foundation for future digital transformation. How will we achieve this? The digital agenda is built on 3 main pillars. 1, ICT and technology enablers. 2, digital government. And 3, digitalization for recovery. These pillars have a set of programs for the next 4 years, which will contribute to achieve the 3 high-level strategic goals.
Indeed, it is about addressing corruption, inequality, the digital divide, cybersecurity, economic challenges, and yes, it's about global pandemics. For sure, the COVID-19 pandemic has taught us that harnessing the power of technology is not a thing of the future, but of the present.
Programs like the Belize Motor Vehicle Registration and License System, which was launched by the Ministry of Transport in 2019, and the Integrated Revenue Information System, IRIS, which was launched several months ago by the Belize Tax Service Department, are some of the earliest iterations of e-governance. Prime Minister Briceño says that the National Digital Agenda will improve upon and increase the size and scale of these early digitization steps.
We will see in 2022 the rollout of a national ID. And many would say, well, what's so exciting about a national ID? Come to think about it, how long does it take to open a bank account? It takes weeks, sometimes it takes you months to open a bank account. And whenever I talk to the managers of these institutions, I tell them, why does it have to take so long? And they all say in one word, if we can have a national ID, within days, we can open a bank account. Just imagine with a national ID, a lot of people that do not have access to credit can use a national ID to access to credit. We have tens of thousands of Belizeans that do not have access to credit. But with a digital ID, it will make it so much easier for them. The modernization of the vital statistics. Imagine, you have to go on a line to apply for a birth certificate. Whenever you pass on Queen Street, I mean, you see people lining up there. People coming from the Toledo district have to be there on the line from before 6 o'clock. And some instances, 3 o'clock when they close, they still haven't gotten any service. Imagine from Santa Elena, Corozal to Jalacte in the Toledo district. You can go online and order and apply for your birth certificate or death certificate, or for our diaspora in the United States or anywhere in the world. You can go online and access your information. The new passport system, we have an archaic passport system that's crashing, that's not working. Despite the challenges that we have found approximately $20 million to invest in a new system, that even our diaspora will be able to apply for their passports digitally. And we hope that by the middle of 2022, Monche, we'll be able to launch this product.
And the Minister of Public Service is urging the e-governance and digitization unit to make all of these online portals so user-friendly that Belizeans will have the easiest time adapting to the new norm.
Today, digital government has become critical to meet the expectations of the modern Belizean citizen. By offering end-to-end digital transactions via online customer portals and mobile apps, GOB can increase customer satisfaction, compliance, and, very important, Prime Minister, revenue. I once again congratulate the Governance and Digitalization Unit and wish them every success. My one request is that you make the technology not only user-friendly, but dad-friendly as well. Thank you very much.
Reporting for 7 News, Daniel Ortiz.
As you saw in our story, transparency and accountability in the government departments are key objectives which this national digital agenda hopes to achieve. Transparency in government was also one of the big platforms on which the Briceño government was elected to office back in November 2020. We've shown you why our newsroom thinks his administration failed to deliver on that promise in their first year in office. And today, when we challenged the Prime Minister on that, he and 2 cabinet members went sharply on the defensive. Here's that part of the Q&A for today's ceremony.
Nothing has changed with our commitment to transparency and accountability and increasing the efficiency of government. That has not changed. But I need to remind you that Plan Belize is a 5-year plan. It's not a 1 month or 1 year plan. And you've been hammering this issue about transparency and transparency. If we are deliberately not wanting to be transparent, we have been doing everything possible. I think to this date, we have been the most transparent government in Belize, certainly from the past 13 years. And it would be good if Channel 7 would sometimes recognize that, as opposed to just hammering and hammering as if we don't want to be transparent. We are committed, but it is a 5-year plan. And that is what we're working on. It took us a year right now to be able to be where we are. We're changing the pieces of legislation that allow us to get there. At the moment, we're working in setting up a procurement office that will centralize procurement, the procurement of government services and goods, and that will also have a digital portal, so where you can see what is out there, what needs to be applied, what you could try to, what services you could offer to government. We are moving towards that.
You refer to a procurement process. I want to share that the Ministry of Finance is as well working in collaboration with the unit in coming up with a proper procedure that will be shared. And the IDB is assisting us through that process.
In terms of transparency, this has been far different than what you've all experienced. In fact, Channel 7 made an issue about one cabinet briefing coming out late. Well, I challenge you to find a cabinet briefing from the last 13 years, because there was none. But every single week, there's a cabinet briefing coming out from this government.
We also asked the Prime Minister if the government's smart stream system could be opened up for scrutiny of public spending. He completely disregarded, and here's how he explained why.
Your administration hasn't published or posted any sort of contract awards, its revenue, and its expenditure. So if it's available, please point us in the correct direction, sir, but when will there be a move towards that sort of information availability?
Well, may I repeat again, this is a 5-year process. I mean, we can't get everything done in 1 day or 1 month or 1 year. For the very first time, we have gone to the House to whenever we want to do an appropriation bill, and we go to the House and we explain item by item, something that never has happened. But you the people, when it happened, man, look at what has happened. We are going to get there, but it is a 5-year plan. I even went so far last week from the House, since your boss was crying, well, I still don't see the paper. I even went, I took the time, scanned it on my phone and sent it to him. I said, I just went through every single item explaining what we're doing. We are going to get there, but give us some time and give us some credit for what we do.
Sir, is
Daniel,
opening up the...
We just presented the Contractor General's report in the House on Friday.
Is opening up the smart stream system for public viewing and access, at least the spending aspects of it, is that too radical an idea?
Respectfully, we can't open a smart stream and with type of personal information. I mean, I think that argument that Jews like to ask, well, the free money, yes, it is the money, but there's also a lot of personal information that we can't open up, confidential information. BTL belongs to us, but we can't have BTL open up every single thing, because there are certain things that you simply cannot open up. It is as if asking Channel 7, well, you are a public entity, since you're giving us information, then you need to open up every single, who are your owners, how much money your owners put, how much money they get. There are certain things that we simply can't make public. It has nothing to do about hiding or being secretive or don't want to make certain information.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. I'm sorry, I'll have to ask the other members of the media to try to get the speakers outside. We do have to wrap up today.
During last week's episode of Uncut, the leadership of the Public Service Union made several fiery comments on a number of different topics of national interest. Among them was the assertion from President Dean Flowers that his union is contemplating a court challenge to the vaccination push for public officers. As we told you, the cabinet has given a mandate that all public officers need to get vaccinated. They have until December 15th to get their jabs against the COVID virus. On that date, they have to show their vaccination card or they will be marked absent from work and dealt with disciplinarily. This afternoon, we asked the Public Service Minister for his views on that continued opposition from the union.
First of all, it is certainly the right of the PSU to get legal advice, and if they feel that they want to challenge the decision made by Cabinet, then they have the right to do so as well. I think it's important to understand, Daniel, that this was not a decision that came about very easily. We took a long time, and by we I mean Cabinet. We spoke to the medical officers, we spoke to our team, and we looked at what was happening around the world in terms of the decisions and the options taken by different jurisdictions. And certainly, it was felt by Cabinet that we have to improve the number of vaccinations in this country. I understand people are still skeptical about the vaccinations. I encourage them to learn the facts. I encourage them to realize that it may not be a perfect tool, but it is a tool in the fight against COVID. And certainly I want to protect our public officers as best I can. That they are skeptical, that they believe that it's their right to choice that is being taken away. I am sorry to hear that. But certainly it's something that the cabinet and myself as Minister of Public Service, we felt that this was critical at this time. There's vaccine hesitancy in different countries, and different countries have taken the move to mandate public officers, to mandate certain sectors of their economy, even in the private sector, that they need to get vaccinated. And it's not us here in Belize saying it, it's a worldwide movement. It's a worldwide advice coming from the WHO, from the CDC, from different medical organizations that are saying, listen, the best fight we have against this disease is the vaccine, and the more persons that are vaccinated, the better off your country will be.
And transparency is what the one-time area rep of Belmopan, John Saldivar, says he should have offered the public during the scandal that all but derailed his political career. The politician turned talk show host made his first media appearance in a year and a half this morning when he agreed to appear on Sun Up on 7. He was there to promote his show, The Les and John Show, but he also answered some questions about the controversy that's haunted him since the Lev Derman scandal. Here's the moment when he told our hosts what he believes he should have done differently.
Image. So what I will say to, I was not without fault in terms of how I handled the situation. I think in hindsight, I should have made myself available to the media far more. I should have spoken out in terms of defending myself. I perhaps assumed that people knew me. People knew my integrity and my honesty and would not fall for that narrative that was being spun in the media, but I was wrong. I realize now that when you can put a story, whether it's true or false, you say it enough times, and enough people begin to believe it, and so you have to defend yourself, and that's one of the things I would do differently now when attacked in that manner.
What will Saldivar do differently in the next election? He's set to face off against the other man who famously posed for pictures with Lev Derman, former mayor of Belmopan, Khalid Belail. Sitting on the sun-up couch, Saldivar seemed confident in his ability to defeat the young upstart when that time comes. But we asked him what it would mean if Khalid were to win.
We're talking about your political career, and we're talking about your major opponent, Mr. Belail. So what would happen? What would happen if you go back to the polls and then let's say he wins? How does that affect you?
That would be the end of my political career, but it would not be the end of my involvement in politics.
Okay.
I would still continue to work for my party. And still continue to work to ensure that the next election and any elections after that we would win. But of course, I'm hoping for a good, positive outcome for me, and I do believe that that's where we are headed at this time.
Of course, we'll bring you the results of that race during the next general election. And if politics is the art of the possible, John Saldivar wants to be the poster boy. He went from leader designate of the UDP in February 2020 to almost the biggest loser for the UDP at the polls in November of 2020. But he's a professional politician and a man committed to national leadership. That's why he's still in the hunt for an unlikely comeback in the Belmopan constituency. And you might be surprised, but the man who led his party for 100 hours before stepping down won't swear off on possibly someday leading his party. Here's how he put it on Sun Up this morning.
Since 2016, we've been vying for different positions within the party, and that's done now.
So your dream of being leader of the party is gone with now?
I'm still in politics.
I know, to be leader of the party.
I am still in politics.
Okay, so that's just basically it's still on the it's still on the horizon.
I haven't been in politics, but my focus at this point is for my party to win the next general election and for Patrick Faber to become the next Prime Minister of Belize. So that's my focus.
And after sunup, the Belmopan caretaker demonstrated that focus when he joined his party leader in a meeting with the Cuban ambassador at the embassy in Belmopan. The two then skipped over to the Senate to pose for a photo with temporary senator and Saldivar loyalist and defeated UDP mayoral candidate Jackie Burns. Last week, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media he was doing his best to reduce the number of fatal accidents on the highways. His solution? Making each jurisdiction responsible for policing their own highways. But it may not be as simple as all that, because fatal traffic accidents have been on an increase recently. And this weekend, another man lost his life when he collided into the back of a Bluebird bus. Here's more from the police communications officer.
Receive information of a RT at mile 1 on the Southern Highway. When police arrived at the scene sometime around 3:10 p.m., the driver of a Toyota Hilux was trapped behind the steering wheel. His name was learned to be Michael Lindo. Police investigation revealed that a Bluebird bus was traveling in front of him. And upon the bus approaching the area where we have those, they call it graded area, but I call it still the speed bump because it's designed to slow down traffic. The Hilux slammed into the back of the bus and it was extensively damaged. Because the driver was trapped, it took a while to get him out. By that time, he was motionless. He was transported to the Southern Regional where he was pronounced dead. We know that the driver of the bus was served with a NIP, and investigators are still trying to put together the pieces. It was rather early in the evening when this accident occurred. No? The condition of the driver of the pickup was the only thing reported to me. They are telling me that the back bumper of the bus was damaged and the back door. So from the looks of things, it would be that the pickup that slammed into the bus received most of the damages. No?
Police are urging drivers to slow down and take more care on the roads, especially during the holiday season. And we'll take a break now, but when we come back, we'll show you Miss Earth Destiny Wagner's triumphant return home. Don't go away.
Celebrate the season with Atlantic Bank and share the gift of joy.
Iris Belize is here. No need to visit the Belize Tax Service and stand in long lines. Easily register your business today by visiting www.irisbelize.bts.gov.bz. When registered, Iris Belize allows you to prepare and pay for your tax services all from your fingertips, using your preferred bank, from your office or home. You will be supported with clear communication and prompt response time with a secure system you can trust. Iris Belize, effortless, easy and efficient electronic tax services for everyone.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
This newscast was brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor. Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Belize City was alive on Saturday with the colorful sights and celebratory sounds of the motorcade to honor our very own Miss Earth, Destiny Wagner. She's the first Belizean to ever win an international pageant and only the second black woman ever to be crowned Miss Earth. And Belizeans have embraced the triumph of the girl who calls PG home. But ahead of the motorcade, Destiny Wagner spoke via Zoom with our Sun Up hosts on Friday, expressing her apprehension at being the center of all this attention.
I'm taking one day at a time, trying to be present in the moment that I'm currently in. I have never in my wildest dreams anticipated that there would be a parade for little old me. So I'm just kind of like, what is happening right now? But I'm excited for it. I like parades. So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone and listening to some music.
And there will be another motorcade for Destiny in the north this weekend as Sugar City honors this Belizean queen with 3 days of events. She also received an enormously warm welcome in her hometown, Punta Gorda, where the street she grew up on has now been renamed in her honor. There are 3 COVID deaths to report tonight, 2 unvaccinated, 1 fully vaxxed. 2 were from Cayo and 1 from Corozal. This brings the death toll up to 582. There were only 144 new confirmed cases over the weekend. 44 of them were discovered in the Cayo district and 22 in Stan Creek. Corozal, Orange Walk, and Belize all reported 20. With 246 new recoveries, the active numbers have finally dipped below 1,000 and are now at 980. And to bring those numbers down even more, today the Ministry of Health received $50,000 worth of medical supplies from the U.S. Embassy. These supplies will be distributed to hospitals across the country and comes at a time when Belize is faced with the 3rd wave of the pandemic and with another variant lurking across the border. The Chargé d'Affaires, Leila Moses Onesh, and the Minister of Health, Michelle Shabat, spoke about the utility of the donation.
These tools are critically important to preventing the spread of COVID-19, particularly in hospitals, among staff, patients, and visitors. And the instructional items include mannequins that will be deployed by the Ministry of Health and Wellness's training unit as practice for healthcare workers learning intubation techniques. Ventilators, when used effectively, are critical to saving lives in the most severe cases of COVID-19. Proper intubation training saves lives. The timing of this delivery of these intubation training materials is deliberate, as we are poised to potentially confront another mutation-fueled wave of cases. The American people will donate 12 ventilators in this month as well, and the combined approach of mitigation and treatment tools will meaningfully improve and expand Belize's ability to assist in the most severe.
The fight against this pandemic has taken a toll on the world and on Belize. COVID-19 has been nothing short of an uphill battle, but one we here at the Ministry of Health and Wellness are committed to conquering. This pandemic has emphasized the importance of partnership and community. It is only through helping one another that we may one day free ourselves from the grip this disease has on our little country and the world.
And the ministry is also celebrating the launch of its new Vax app. So if you're tired of carrying around either the large or miniature version of your Vax card, the app allows you to present your vaccine status straight from your phone. While the app had initially been leaked before it was completed, Minister Shabat says it's now out for everyone.
It is now available to everyone. You know, I think one of the Facebook, I don't want to say media houses, but outlets had jumped the gun and had expressed to the public it was available, but now it has been officially launched and it is available for anybody who has an Android or an iPhone. So it is available to the general public.
But But while we have the app, the KHMH is still missing some much-needed supplies. We asked Shabat for an update on the KHMH shortages, and he explained that they've been trying to source local supplies due to the major shipping crisis in the U.S.
We are working on this. I know that some material and supplies were issued to them this past week. We're expecting some more this week. And so every week we're getting in stuff. And as we go getting it, we're issuing to KHMH, we're issuing to CML, and we're issuing to our hospitals.
Were the shortages because the tenders were put out too late?
Well, the shortages are a combination of issues. One, the unavailability of some of the items on the international market. As a matter of fact, we've resorted to local distributors to acquire them to make sure that our hospitals are not out. And as you know, there's a shipping crisis across the world, which has also affected us being able to get the medicines to the country.
Last week, we told you about the classification that the Belize National Coast Guard had reportedly placed on the police department, calling them a drug trafficking organization. That was accompanied by sending a directive to the police that they could no longer board Coast Guard vessels, that is, or engage in joint operations. When we put the question to the commissioner last week, he said that he and the Coast Guard commander had met and ironed it out. But when the same was asked of his communications officer this morning, well, he didn't seem all that sure.
Not to my knowledge, there haven't been set any direct operations mandate. I know that at this moment we do have an operations officer that he's very active at this moment, and our operations team are doing fairly well. But we know that it is very important for multi-agencies to operate on the same level with the same mandate. So I'm just hoping that this could be settled sooner rather than later, so we know exactly which direction that would go also.
Last week, Friday's Reporter newspaper states that the issues meant from Rear Admiral Elton Bennett's concern that rogue police officers would be leaking information from the Joint Intelligence Operations Center, GIOC, which is now commanded by the Coast Guard. Our information is that before they were dismantled, the disgraced COST team was receiving information from GIOC. That's all we have for you for tonight. Thanks for watching. With your news, I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find the full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see streaming video of this newscast on our Facebook page. Under the new regulations put into law this evening and the correction on our behalf, the curfew starts at 11 tonight, which is the new time, and ends at 4 a.m. tomorrow. Have a good night, stay safe, and join me back here tomorrow at 6.